Chapter 1. The Early Days. In London, a long time ago, there was a little boy named Charlie. Charlie lived in a small, crowded house with his family. Times were tough, and everyone had to work hard to make ends meet. But Charlie had a dream. He loved to make people laugh and dreamed of being on stage one day. Charlie's mother was a singer, and his father was an actor. They weren't famous, but they had a passion for the arts. This passion was passed on to young Charlie. Even when things were difficult, the family found joy in music and laughter. From a very young age, Charlie showed a natural talent for entertaining. He would often perform for his family, making up songs and dances. He had a way of turning even the simplest things into a performance. A spoon could become a character, and a tablecloth could transform into a cape for a knight. The streets of London were a tough place for a child. But they were also where Charlie learned some of his greatest lessons. He observed the people around him, the way they walked, talked, and expressed themselves. These observations would later become the foundation of his characters. As Charlie grew older, he began to perform in the streets for coins. It wasn't easy. Sometimes people laughed and clapped, but other times they just walked by. Charlie didn't give up, though. He knew he had to keep trying if he was going to achieve his dream. One day, Charlie's luck changed. A man who worked in the theatre saw him performing. He was impressed by Charlie's talent and offered him a chance to perform on a real stage. Charlie was overjoyed. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. Performing in the theatre was a big step for Charlie. He had to learn many new things. There were scripts to memorize, marks to hit, and costumes to wear. But Charlie was a quick learner. He watched the other actors and learned from them. He practiced every day, determined to be the best he could be. Charlie's first performance was a success. The audience loved him. He made them laugh, and he made them cry. He was a natural on stage. After that, there was no looking back. Charlie was on his way to becoming a star. But success didn't come overnight. There were many challenges ahead. Charlie had to work hard and face many rejections. There were times when he doubted himself, wondering if he was really good enough. But he never lost sight of his dream. Through determination and hard work, Charlie began to make a name for himself in the world of theatre. He travelled with different troupes, performing in cities and towns across the country. With each performance, he grew more confident and more skilled. Charlie's performances were not just about making people laugh. He had a special way of connecting with the audience. He brought real emotions to his characters, making them relatable. People saw themselves in his performances, and this made them love him even more. As Charlie's fame grew, so did his ambitions. He wanted to reach more people with his art. This led him to the world of cinema. It was a new and exciting challenge. Movies were silent back then, but Charlie saw this as an opportunity. He believed that without words, his physical comedy and expressions could speak even louder. Charlie's transition to film was a turning point in his career. He created the Tramp, a character that would become iconic. The Tramp was a kind-hearted vagabond, always optimistic despite his circumstances. Through this character, Charlie explored themes of poverty, injustice, and love. He made people laugh, but he also made them think. In the movies, Charlie had more control over his performances. He could experiment with different ideas and techniques. He wasn't just an actor. He became a director, writer, and producer. He was a true artist, dedicated to his craft. Charlie Chaplin's journey from the streets of London to the bright lights of Hollywood is a testament to the power of dreams and determination. He faced hardship and rejection, but he never gave up. He believed in himself and in the joy that his performances could bring to people. Charlie's legacy goes beyond his films. He showed us the importance of laughter, compassion, and humanity. He reminded us that even in the darkest times, there can be light and hope, and that, perhaps, is the greatest lesson of all. Chapter 2. The Call of the Stage. Charlie's journey to the stage wasn't easy. It began on a chilly evening when he stood backstage at a small theatre, heart pounding and palms sweaty. This was his moment, his first step into the world he'd dreamed of since he was a little boy. The theatre was packed. People from all walks of life had come to enjoy an evening of entertainment. Charlie peeked from behind the curtain, his eyes wide with both excitement and fear. He had performed on the streets before, but this was different. This was the real deal. The stage was a magical place where stories came to life, and tonight, he was part of that magic. As the curtain rose, Charlie took a deep breath and stepped into the spotlight. The audience fell silent, all eyes on him. For a moment, Charlie froze. The bright lights were blinding, and the sea of faces looked like a daunting wave ready to crash down on him. But then, he remembered why he was there. He wanted to make people laugh, to bring them joy and forget their troubles for a while. With a shaky start, Charlie began his performance. He stumbled, he fumbled, but then he found his rhythm. He transformed into his characters effortlessly, each with their unique quirks and gestures. The audience began to laugh, first a few chuckles, then roaring laughter that filled the room. Charlie's confidence grew with every laugh, every clap. He was no longer just a boy from the streets. He was an entertainer, a storyteller. As the show went on, Charlie forgot about his nerves. He was lost in the world he created, a world where he was in control. He made the audience cry with a poignant scene, then laugh again with a clumsy dance. He was a whirlwind of emotion, captivating everyone who watched. When the final curtain fell, the applause was thunderous. Charlie stood on stage, his chest swelling with pride. He had done it. He had connected with the audience in a way he had never thought possible. The applause wasn't just for his performance. It was for him, for Charlie, the boy who dared to dream. Backstage, the cast and crew congratulated him. They were a tight-knit family, bound by their love for the theatre. Charlie felt a sense of belonging he had never felt before. These were his people, his tribe. They understood the highs and lows of the stage, the adrenaline rush of performing, and the crushing doubt that came with it. The theatre became Charlie's home away from home. He spent every moment he could there, learning everything about the art of performance. He wasn't content with just being an actor. He wanted to understand the magic behind the scenes. He learned about lighting, set design, and directing. He was a sponge, soaking up every bit of knowledge he could. Charlie's passion and dedication did not go unnoticed. He was given more roles, each more challenging than the last. With every performance, he pushed himself harder. He wanted to explore the depths of his creativity, to see how far he could go. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were nights when the theatre was half empty, when the applause was lukewarm. There were critics who were harsh, their words stinging like bees. Charlie felt the weight of failure, the doubt creeping in. Was he good enough? Was this all a mistake? In those moments of doubt, Charlie turned to the stage. It was his sanctuary, a place where he could be anyone or anything. He poured his heart and soul into his performances, using the criticism as fuel to improve. He knew he had a gift, and he wasn't going to let anyone take that away from him. The stage taught Charlie many lessons. He learned about resilience, about bouncing back after a fall. He learned about empathy, putting himself in the shoes of his characters. But most importantly, he learned about the power of laughter. It was a universal language, one that could bridge any gap, heal any wound. Charlie's journey on the stage was just the beginning. It was where he honed his craft, where he found his voice. The theatre was more than just a stepping stone. It was a foundation on which he would build his legacy. As the years passed, Charlie's fame grew. He became a beloved figure in the world of theatre. But the call of the stage never left him. No matter where his career took him, he always looked back at those early days with fondness. The stage was where Charlie Chaplin, the legend, was born. It was where a simple boy with a dream became a beacon of hope and laughter for the world. Chapter 3. The Leap to America. Charlie's story was about to take a big leap, a leap across the ocean to America, a place where dreams could turn into reality. He had heard stories of the land of opportunity, and now it was his turn to see if he could make a name for himself in this new world. The journey was not easy. Charlie boarded a ship, leaving behind the familiar streets of London for the vast open sea. As the coastline faded into the distance, he felt a mix of excitement and fear. What awaited him in America? Would he find success, or would this be the biggest mistake of his life? The voyage was long and tiring. Charlie spent many days and nights looking out at the endless ocean, wondering about his future. He thought about the theatre, the applause, and the laughter. He remembered the tough times too, the empty seats and the harsh critics. But it was the dream of something bigger, something better, that kept him going. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the ship arrived in America. Charlie stepped off the boat and onto American soil, his heart racing with anticipation. The sights and sounds of the new country were overwhelming. It was nothing like he had ever seen before. The buildings were taller, the streets busier. There was an energy in the air, a sense that anything was possible. Charlie's first challenge was to find work. He had little money and knew no one in America. He started by visiting theatres, looking for any opportunity to perform. But it wasn't easy. The American theatre scene was different from what he was used to. There were new styles and trends, and competition was fierce. Despite the setbacks, Charlie didn't give up. He knew he had something special to offer. He just needed a chance to show it. And then finally, that chance came. A small theatre was looking for actors for a new comedy show. Charlie auditioned, pouring all his charm and talent into the performance. The theatre director was impressed. He saw something unique in Charlie, a spark that could light up the stage. Charlie was hired, and just like that, his American journey began. He threw himself into the work, rehearsing day and night. He wanted to make sure that his American debut was a hit. The night of the first show arrived, and Charlie was nervous. The theatre was packed, the audience a mix of curious locals and seasoned theatre-goers. As the curtain rose, Charlie stepped into the spotlight once again. But this time, it was different. This was his moment to prove himself in America, to show that he could make it in the land of opportunity. Charlie's performance was a whirlwind of emotion and comedy. He brought his characters to life with an energy that was infectious. The audience laughed, cried, and cheered. Charlie had done it. He had won the hearts of the American people just as he had hoped. The success of that first show opened doors for Charlie. He began to get more roles, each one bigger and better than the last. He was no longer just another actor trying to make it. He was becoming a star. But Charlie wanted more than just to be a star on the stage. He had a vision, a dream of bringing his unique style of comedy to a wider audience. That dream led Charlie to the world of film. Cinema was still a new and exciting medium, and Charlie saw its potential. He believed that film could bring laughter and joy to even more people, transcending the limitations of the theatre. Charlie's transition to film was not without its challenges. Film acting was different from stage acting, requiring a different set of skills. Charlie had to learn to act for the camera, to convey emotion and humour without the immediate feedback of a live audience. It was a daunting task, but Charlie was up for the challenge. His hard work paid off. Charlie's films were a hit. People loved his unique blend of humour and pathos, his ability to make them laugh one moment and tear up the next. Charlie's character, the tramp, became an icon, beloved by audiences around the world. But success did not change Charlie. He remained dedicated to his art, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible in film. He wrote, directed, and produced his movies, ensuring that every detail was perfect. He was a perfectionist, driven by a desire to bring joy and laughter to as many people as possible. Charlie's leap to America had been a gamble, but it had paid off. He had found success beyond his wildest dreams. But more than that, he had found a way to share his gift with the world. Charlie Chaplin, the boy from the streets of London, had become an international superstar, a symbol of hope and laughter in a world that desperately needed both. As Charlie looked back on his journey, he knew that it was the love of performance, the desire to entertain, that had brought him this far. It was a love that had been born in the humble theatres of London and had grown on the stages and in the film studios of America. It was a love that would continue to drive him, to inspire him to create, to dream, and to make the world laugh for many years to come. Chapter 4. The Birth of the Tramp. In the bustling world of early cinema, a new character was about to make his debut, a character that would become one of the most beloved figures in film history. This character was the Tramp, and he was the brainchild of Charlie Chaplin. The creation of the Tramp was a pivotal moment in Charlie's career, a blend of genius, improvisation, and insight into the human spirit. Charlie had been working in films for a while, experimenting with different roles and ideas, but he felt something was missing. He wanted to create a character that would not only entertain but also touch the hearts of his audience. He pondered over this for days, searching for inspiration. Then, one day, as if by magic, everything came together. The idea struck him while he was sitting in the dressing room of a small film studio. He looked around and saw various costume pieces scattered about. Baggy pants, a tight coat, large shoes, a small hat, and a bamboo cane. An image started to form in his mind, a character that was a contradiction in itself, elegantly dressed but obviously poor, graceful yet clumsy. Charlie knew instantly that this was the character he had been searching for. He started to piece the costume together, trying on the baggy pants and the tight coat, slipping into the large shoes that were much too big for his feet, and topping it off with the small derby hat. He added a small moustache to give the character maturity without hiding his expressions. As Charlie looked at himself in the mirror, the Tramp was born. The Tramp was a vagabond, a wanderer with a heart of gold and a spirit of resilience. He was always down on his luck, but never lost his dignity or his sense of humour. With his baggy clothes and his peculiar walk, the Tramp was ready to face the world, turning every setback into an adventure, every obstacle into a comedic escapade. Charlie's first film with the Tramp was a short comedy. From the moment the Tramp appeared on screen, the audience was captivated. They laughed at his antics, felt sympathy for his struggles, and cheered for his triumphs. The tramp was a character everyone could relate to. He embodied the struggles and hopes of the common man in a rapidly changing world. The success of the tramp was overwhelming. People couldn't get enough of him. He was different from anything they had seen before. A character that made them laugh, but also made them think and feel. Charlie had tapped into something universal. A love for a character that was as complex as he was entertaining. With each new film, Charlie explored different facets of the tramp's personality and adventures. He placed him in various situations, from the depths of poverty to the heights of heroism, always maintaining the tramp's inherent dignity and optimism. The tramp became a symbol of the human spirit, resilient in the face of adversity, always able to find humor in the darkest of situations. Charlie's portrayal of the tramp was a masterpiece of physical comedy and emotional depth. He had a unique ability to convey a wide range of emotions without saying a word. Through his body language, facial expressions, and the subtle use of props, Charlie brought the tramp to life in a way that was both hilarious and heartwarming. The creation of the tramp was not just a milestone in Charlie's career. It was a turning point in the history of cinema. The tramp showed that film could be a powerful medium for exploring the complexities of human life, that it could make people laugh and cry, think and feel. Charlie's films with the tramp were more than just entertainment. They were works of art that reflected the joys and sorrows, the absurdities and the beauty of the human experience. As the tramp continued to appear in films, his popularity grew. He became a global icon, loved by audiences around the world. Through the tramp, Charlie Chaplin became not just a filmmaker, but a legend, a visionary who used the power of cinema to create a legacy of laughter and compassion. The tramp was more than just a character. He was a reflection of Charlie's own life and struggles. Like the tramp, Charlie had faced adversity and hardship, but he had never lost his sense of humor or his belief in the goodness of people. The tramp was a tribute to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that no matter how tough life gets, there is always a reason to smile, to keep walking, and to keep dreaming. The birth of the tramp was a moment of inspiration that would change the course of film history. It was a testament to Charlie Chaplin's genius, his empathy, and his understanding of the power of laughter. The tramp may have been a character of the silent film era, but his message was loud and clear. In a world full of challenges and uncertainties, laughter is timeless, and hope is eternal. Chapter 5. Rising Star. In the heart of Hollywood, a place where dreams are made and stars are born, Charlie Chaplin's journey took a dazzling turn. This was where he transformed from a talented performer into a shining star of the silent film era. Charlie's arrival in Hollywood was like a breath of fresh air. People were drawn to his unique style, his humor, and the depth he brought to his characters, especially the tramp. Charlie's first few films in Hollywood were a revelation. Audiences had never seen anything quite like him before. His ability to convey emotion, to make people laugh without saying a single word, was extraordinary. With every film, Charlie's popularity grew. He wasn't just an actor. He was a storyteller, a magician who could create moments of joy and sadness, all without the need for dialogue. His films were more than just entertainment. They were a reflection of life, with all its complexities and contradictions. Charlie had a special gift for finding humor in the everyday, for turning the mundane into the magical. His character, the tramp, became a symbol of hope and resilience, a beacon of light in a world that was often dark and uncertain. But Charlie's rise to stardom wasn't just about his talent on screen. he was also a visionary behind the camera. He wrote, directed, and produced his own films, a rarity at the time. This gave him the freedom to experiment, to explore new ideas, and push the boundaries of what was possible in cinema. One of Charlie's greatest strengths was his attention to detail. He was a perfectionist, spending hours, even days, on a single scene to get it just right. He understood the power of a gesture, a look, a moment of silence. In his hands, the simplest scene could become a masterpiece of comedy or a poignant commentary on the human condition. Charlie's films were a mix of slapstick and satire, of physical comedy and emotional depth. He tackled big themes, love, poverty, injustice, while always maintaining a sense of optimism and humanity. His work resonated with people from all walks of life, from the working class to the wealthy, from the young to the old. Charlie Chaplin had become a universal symbol of laughter and hope. As Charlie's star rose, so did his influence in the film industry. He became one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood, admired and respected by his peers. But with fame came challenges. Charlie faced pressure from studio executives, from the media, and even from his fans. They all wanted more of the tramp, more of the magic that Charlie created. Despite these pressures, Charlie remained true to his vision. He continued to make films that he believed in, films that spoke to his artistic integrity and his sense of social justice. He wasn't afraid to take risks, to explore new themes and techniques. This courage, this willingness to stand up for what he believed in, made him not just a great artist, but a great man. Charlie's journey from the streets of London to the heights of Hollywood is a testament to his talent, his hard work, and his undying passion for cinema. He faced obstacles and setbacks, but he never lost sight of his dream. He believed in the power of film to bring joy, to inspire, to make a difference. And he was right. Charlie Chaplin's legacy is not just in the laughter he brought to millions, or the innovations he brought to cinema. It's in the way he touched people's hearts, in the way he made them see the world a little differently. He showed us that even in the darkest times, there can be light, that even in the midst of chaos, there can be beauty and hope. As we look back on Charlie's rise to stardom, we see more than just the story of a talented actor and filmmaker. We see the story of a man who believed in the power of dreams, who understood the importance of compassion and empathy. Charlie Chaplin was more than a rising star. He was a beacon of hope, a reminder of the transformative power of cinema, and his light, his legacy, will shine on, inspiring generations to come. Chapter 6. Master of Comedy. In the bustling world of cinema, Charlie Chaplin emerged not just as a star, but as a true master of comedy. He had a remarkable ability to weave together humor and emotion, creating films that made people laugh, cry, and think. His genius lay in understanding the human condition, in finding the comedy in tragedy and the hope in despair. Charlie's journey as a filmmaker was marked by his relentless pursuit of perfection and his deep empathy for the struggles of the common man. He saw the world through a lens that captured both its absurdities and its beauty. This unique perspective allowed him to create films that were not just entertaining, but also deeply moving. At the heart of Charlie's work was his iconic character, the tramp. With his baggy pants, tight coat, oversized shoes, and small bowler hat, the tramp was a figure of both comedy and pathos. He was the underdog, always struggling, yet never giving up. Through the tramp, Charlie explored themes of poverty, injustice, love, and resilience. He showed that even in the hardest times, there could be laughter and moments of joy. Charlie's films were masterclasses in the art of visual storytelling. He could convey complex emotions with a simple gesture or expression. A raised eyebrow, a wistful smile, or a clumsy fall could speak volumes. His use of physical comedy was not just for laughs, it was a way to connect with the audience, to communicate the deeper truths of life. One of the most remarkable aspects of Charlie's work was his ability to blend comedy with social commentary. He used humor as a tool to shed light on the injustices of his time. In films like Modern Times and The Kid, he tackled issues of industrialization, poverty, and the plight of the working class. He did this with a gentle hand, using comedy to open people's hearts and minds to the realities of the world around them. Charlie's genius also lay in his timing and precision. Every scene, every shot was meticulously planned and executed. He understood the rhythm of comedy, the importance of pacing and timing. He knew just when to deliver a punchline or a physical gag to get the maximum response from his audience. But it wasn't just laughter that Charlie aimed for. He wanted his films to resonate on a deeper level. He wanted to make people think, to feel, to see the world a little differently. His films were an invitation to look beyond the surface, to find the humanity in everyone, and to recognize the absurdities of life. Charlie's ability to blend humor with emotion made his films timeless. They spoke to universal themes of love, loss, struggle, and triumph. They reminded us of the power of laughter to heal, to bring people together, and to make us feel more deeply. Despite the challenges and changes of his time, Charlie never lost his faith in humanity. Through his films, he offered a message of hope and resilience. He showed that even in the darkest times, there could be moments of beauty and grace. This was the magic of Charlie Chaplin, a master of comedy who touched the hearts of millions. Charlie's legacy as a filmmaker is not just in the laughter he brought to audiences around the world, but in the way he used comedy to illuminate the human spirit. He was a pioneer, a visionary who saw the potential of cinema to change the way we see ourselves and each other. As we reflect on Charlie Chaplin's genius, we are reminded of the power of film to inspire, to challenge, and to bring joy. His work continues to resonate, a testament to his incredible talent and his deep understanding of the complexity of human emotions. Charlie Chaplin was more than a master of comedy. He was a master of the human heart. Chapter 7. The Great Dictator. In the world of cinema, few films have dared to tackle the horrors of tyranny and war with the sharpness and depth of Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator. This film stands as a monumental achievement in Chaplin's career, a bold satire that combines his signature humor with a poignant message against dictatorship and oppression. The Great Dictator was a leap into uncharted waters for Chaplin. For the first time, he stepped away from his beloved tramp character to play two roles: a humble Jewish barber and Adenoid Hinkle, the tyrannical dictator of Tumania, a clear parody of Adolf Hitler. The film was Chaplin's first full-sound film, allowing him to exploit verbal humor and deliver a powerful speech that resonates to this day. The making of The Great Dictator was a testament to Chaplin's courage and wit. At the time, America was still at peace with Nazi Germany, and many advised Chaplin against making the film, fearing it would antagonize Hitler and harm Chaplin's career. But Chaplin, moved by the plight of the Jewish people and disturbed by the rise of fascism, felt a moral obligation to speak out. He used his art as a weapon against tyranny, investing his own money into the production when no studio would back the film. Creating The Great Dictator was a massive undertaking. Chaplin meticulously crafted every scene to ensure his message was clear. He wanted to ridicule the absurdity of dictatorship and the dangers of nationalism, using satire as a means to expose their inherent folly. The film's famous Globe scene, where Hinkle dances with a globe balloon, is a masterful blend of comedy and tragedy, symbolizing the dictator's delusional quest for world domination. Chaplin's decision to play both the dictator and the barber was a stroke of genius. It allowed him to explore the themes of identity, power, and humanity. The contrast between the two characters, one a power-hungry tyrant, the other a kind-hearted common man, highlighted Chaplin's belief in the goodness of people and the idea that kindness and compassion could triumph over hate and oppression. The production of The Great Dictator was fraught with challenges, from technical difficulties to political pressures. But Chaplin's determination never wavered. He believed in the importance of the film, in its potential to make a difference. And when The Great Dictator was released in 1940, it became an instant success, praised for its bold message and Chaplin's performance. The film's final speech, where Chaplin steps out of character to address the audience directly, is one of the most powerful moments in cinematic history. Chaplin's plea for humanity, for a world of reason, kindness, and peace, struck a chord with audiences around the world. It was a call to action, a reminder of the power of individuals to effect change. The Great Dictator marked a turning point in Chaplin's career. It showed his evolution from a master of comedy to a filmmaker of profound social and political insight. The film was not just entertainment, it was a statement, a piece of art that challenged the status quo and inspired people to dream of a better world. Looking back on The Great Dictator, we see the legacy of Chaplin's courage and creativity. He dared to use his voice, his platform, to stand against tyranny at a time when the world was on the brink of war. Chaplin's film is a testament to the power of satire, to the idea that laughter can be a force for good, a way to shine a light on the darkest parts of our society. The Great Dictator remains a powerful reminder of the dangers of silence in the face of injustice. It celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope. Chaplin's bold satire is not just a piece of cinematic history. It's a call to never forget the impact one voice can have in the fight against oppression. Through The Great Dictator, Chaplin showed us that even in the face of darkness, we can find light, laughter, and the courage to speak truth to power. Chapter 8. Love and Loss. Behind the laughter and the spotlight that followed Charlie Chaplin, there was a man who experienced the highs and lows of love and loss, just like anyone else. His personal life was a tapestry of profound connections and heartfelt emotions, painting a picture of a man whose experiences off-screen were as rich and complex as those of his characters. Charlie's romantic journey began in his early days in Hollywood, where he found himself enchanted by the beauty and charisma of the actresses he worked with. But it wasn't just their beauty that captivated him. It was their spirit, their resilience, and their talent. Each relationship brought its own story of love, joy, and sometimes heartache. One of the most significant relationships in Charlie's life was with Mildred Harris, a young actress with whom he shared a whirlwind romance. Their marriage was marked by passionate love, but also challenges that tested their bond. The joy of welcoming their first child was followed by profound loss when the baby passed away just days after birth. This experience of becoming a father and then facing an unimaginable loss left a deep imprint on Charlie, shaping his understanding of love's fragility and the pain of losing someone you hold dear. As time went on, Charlie's heart was captured again, this time by Lita Grey, another young actress. Their relationship blossomed into marriage and the birth of 2 sons. These years were filled with the joy of fatherhood, but also the struggles of a tumultuous marriage. Through these ups and downs, Charlie's love for his children remained unwavering, a beacon of light in the midst of personal storms. Charlie's quest for love didn't end there. He found a kindred spirit in Paulette Goddard, a talented actress with a vivacious personality. Their relationship was a partnership of equals, both on and off the screen. Together, they navigated the challenges of Hollywood, their bond strengthened by mutual respect and admiration. Though their journey together eventually led them down separate paths, their time together was filled with laughter, creativity, and love. But it was with Una O'Neill, the daughter of the famous playwright Eugene O'Neill, that Charlie found a lasting love. Despite the significant age difference and initial skepticism from those around them, Charlie and Una's love was built on a foundation of deep understanding, respect, and shared values. Their marriage brought stability and happiness to Charlie's life, along with the joy of welcoming 8 children. Una was his rock, his partner, through the triumphs and challenges that life threw their way. Through each of these relationships, Charlie experienced the full spectrum of love and loss. He knew the exhilaration of falling in love, the joy of companionship, and the pain of heartbreak. These experiences, both bitter and sweet, infused his work with a depth of emotion that resonated with audiences around the world. In his films, love was often depicted as a force of hope and redemption, a reflection of Charlie's own beliefs. Charlie's personal life, with its moments of love, loss, and everything in between, showed that behind the iconic figure of the tramp was a man who lived deeply and loved deeply. His experiences off-screen influenced the stories he told on screen, adding layers of complexity to his characters and their journeys. In the end, Charlie Chaplin's legacy is not just one of cinematic genius, but of a man who navigated the complexities of the human heart with grace, humor, and an unyielding spirit. His life reminds us that behind every great artist is a person who experiences the same joys and sorrows as anyone else. Through his art, Charlie shared with us not just the laughter, but also the tears, the love, and the loss that define the human experience. Chapter 9. Trials and Tribulations. Charlie Chaplin, the man who brought laughter to millions, faced his share of trials and tribulations off-screen. Despite the joy he created on film, his life was not without its challenges. From controversies that threatened his career to personal demons that tested his spirit, Charlie's journey was a testament to resilience and determination. One of the most significant challenges Charlie faced was the scrutiny of his personal life. His relationships and marriages were often the subject of public fascination and criticism. The media's relentless attention made it difficult for him to find privacy and peace. This scrutiny was not just limited to his romantic life. It extended to his political beliefs and social views, which were sometimes seen as controversial. Charlie was also caught in the crossfire of political tension. During the era of McCarthyism, when fear of communism was at its peak in the United States, Charlie's outspoken support for free speech and civil rights drew suspicion. He was accused of having communist sympathies, an accusation that put him at odds with powerful figures in government and the entertainment industry. The pressure was immense, with calls for his films to be banned and for him to be deported. Amid these external pressures, Charlie battled personal demons. The loss of his first child, the breakdown of his marriages, and the intense loneliness that often accompanies fame took a toll on his mental health. There were times when the weight of his struggles seemed unbearable. Yet, despite these challenges, Charlie never lost his commitment to his artistry. Charlie's response to adversity was to immerse himself even more deeply in his work. He believed that cinema had the power to change the world, to bring light to darkness, and to offer hope in times of despair. His films during this period tackled social and political issues more directly, blending humor with a poignant critique of society's flaws. The Great Dictator, a bold satire of fascism and tyranny, was perhaps his most daring venture. It was a film that risked everything: his reputation, his career, and even his safety. Yet, for Charlie, the message of the film was worth all the risks. It was his way of fighting back against the forces of hatred and oppression, using the only weapons he had: his humor and his humanity. Despite the controversies and the personal struggles, Charlie's genius was undeniable. His films continued to captivate audiences around the world, proving that his art could transcend boundaries and speak to the universal human experience. He was honored with awards and accolades, but perhaps the greatest testament to his impact was the love and admiration of his fans. They saw in Charlie not just a great artist, but a man who dared to stand up for what he believed in, who remained true to himself in the face of adversity. Charlie's trials and tribulations off-screen were a stark contrast to the joy and laughter he brought on screen. Yet they were an integral part of his story, shaping him as an artist and as a man. His ability to overcome these challenges, to continue creating and inspiring, is a reminder of the power of resilience and the enduring spirit of creativity. As we look back on Charlie Chaplin's life, we see a journey marked by both light and shadow. His struggles off-screen were as compelling as the stories he told on film. They remind us that behind the laughter, there is often pain. Behind the success, there are often trials. But through it all, Charlie Chaplin remained a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest times, there is always a way to find light. Chapter 10. Exile and Return. In a twist that seemed almost scripted for the silver screen, Charlie Chaplin, the beloved star whose films had charmed millions, found himself in a real-life drama that led to his exile from America. This chapter of his life was marked by adversity, reflection, and ultimately, a return that felt like a scene from one of his own movies. The year was 1952, and the political climate in the United States was tense. The Cold War was at its peak, and the fear of communism led to a nationwide hysteria known as the Red Scare. Chaplin, with his outspoken political views and controversial personal life, became a target. Despite his contributions to American cinema and culture, he was accused of being a communist sympathizer. When he travelled to London for the premiere of his film Limelight, the US government seized the opportunity. They revoked his re-entry permit, effectively exiling him from the country he had called home for nearly 4 decades. Forced to settle in Switzerland, Chaplin was initially devastated by the exile. America had been the land where he achieved fame and success, where he had made his most beloved films. To be cast out was a bitter pill to swallow. However, Chaplin was not one to be defeated by adversity. In the quiet of his new home, surrounded by the serene beauty of the Swiss landscape, he found a period of intense reflection and creativity. Exile gave Chaplin a chance to look back on his life and work, to ponder the changing world and his place in it. It was during this time that he wrote his autobiography, a project that allowed him to share his story in his own words. Writing became a therapeutic process for Chaplin, a way to make sense of his journey and the trials he had faced. But Chaplin's creative spirit could not be contained to just writing. He continued to make films, including A King in New York in 1957, a satire that humorously and poignantly critiqued the very forces that had led to his exile. The film was a reflection of Chaplin's experiences, a statement on freedom of expression, and the absurdity of the political witch hunts of the time. Years passed, and the political climate in America began to change. The intensity of the Red Scare waned, and the cultural landscape shifted. Chaplin's contributions to cinema and his impact on American culture were re-evaluated, leading to a growing sentiment that his exile had been a mistake. In 1972, after 2 decades of living in Switzerland, Chaplin was invited back to the United States to receive an honorary Oscar for the incalculable effect he has had in making motion pictures the art form of this century. The invitation was a symbolic gesture, an acknowledgement of Chaplin's greatness and a public act of reconciliation. Chaplin's return to America was a triumphant moment. At the Academy Awards ceremony, he received not just the honorary Oscar, but also a 12-minute standing ovation, the longest in the Academy's history. It was a powerful and emotional moment, a vindication of Chaplin's legacy. The man who had been exiled came back as a hero, celebrated and cherished. The standing ovation was more than just applause for Chaplin's cinematic achievements. It was an ovation for his resilience, for his ability to face adversity with grace and humor. It was a welcome back to an artist who had given so much to the world, whose films had brought light and laughter to the darkest times. Chaplin's exile and return is a story of redemption, a testament to the enduring power of art and the human spirit. It shows that even in the face of challenges and controversy, creativity and love for one's craft can prevail. Chaplin's journey from exile to triumph is a reminder that true greatness cannot be silenced, that the voices of artists will continue to resonate, long after the noise of conflict has faded. As we reflect on Chaplin's exile and return, we see not just the narrative of a film legend, but a larger story about forgiveness, change, and the capacity for growth. It's a story that inspires, reminding us that no matter how difficult the journey, there is always a possibility for a triumphant return, for a second act that can be even more beautiful than the first. Chapter 11. A New Era. As the curtains of the silent film era began to close, a new era of cinema was dawning, the era of sound films. This transition was a pivotal moment for all in the film industry, but perhaps none faced it with as much anticipation and trepidation as Charlie Chaplin. Known and loved for his silent films, Chaplin now faced the challenge of adapting to a world where his characters would no longer be silent, a world that demanded a new kind of creativity and innovation. Initially, Charlie was skeptical about sound films. He believed that the magic of cinema lay in its ability to convey emotions and stories without words, through gestures, expressions, and the universal language of music and visual comedy. The idea of his characters speaking was almost unimaginable. Yet, as sound films became the norm and audiences' expectations shifted, Chaplin realized that he too must evolve. Embracing the change did not mean abandoning his roots. Instead, Chaplin sought to integrate the new technology of sound into his work in a way that enhanced rather than overshadowed his unique style of storytelling. His first foray into this new world was with City Lights, 1931, a film that, while technically a sound film, used sound effects and music but kept the dialogue to a minimum. Chaplin's character, the tramp, remained silent, communicating through his actions and expressions, proving that the essence of his art could thrive even in the age of sound. City Lights was a testament to Chaplin's genius, his ability to adapt without losing his identity. The film was a critical and commercial success, demonstrating that Chaplin's silent film style could exist and even flourish in the new era. It was a bridge between the old and the new, blending the silent era's visual poetry with the sound era's possibilities. Encouraged by the success of City Lights, Chaplin continued to explore the potential of sound cinema. His next major project, Modern Times, 1936, was another bold experiment. The film was a commentary on the industrial age, featuring sound effects, voiceovers, and even a scene where Chaplin's character sings, marking the first time audiences heard his voice in a film. This scene was particularly significant, as it symbolized Chaplin's willingness to experiment with his art, to push boundaries and explore new dimensions of storytelling. As Chaplin navigated this new era, he also ventured into new thematic territory. His films began to reflect his concerns about the world, its politics, its injustices, and the plight of the common man. The Great Dictator, 1940, Chaplin's first true sound film, was a satirical masterpiece that used dialogue to powerful effect, delivering a scathing critique of fascism and tyranny. It showcased Chaplin's remarkable ability to blend humor with serious political commentary, making a profound statement about humanity and freedom. The transition to sound films was not just a technical challenge for Chaplin, it was an opportunity to grow as an artist and a storyteller. He embraced the change with creativity and courage, proving that his artistry was not confined to the silent era, but was timeless, capable of evolving and resonating with audiences in any age. In adapting to the changing world of cinema, Chaplin showed that true creativity knows no boundaries. He continued to explore new projects and ideas, always with the aim of making films that entertained, enlightened, and inspired. Whether silent or sound, Chaplin's films were imbued with his unique vision, his compassion for humanity, and his unwavering belief in the power of laughter and love. As we reflect on this chapter of Chaplin's career, we see a story of adaptation and resilience. It is a reminder that change, while often daunting, can also be a gateway to new possibilities and discoveries. Chaplin's journey through the transition from silent to sound films is a testament to his enduring legacy as a master of cinema, an artist who remained true to himself while embracing the future with open arms. Chapter 12. The Composer. In the diverse tapestry of Charlie Chaplin's talents, one of the most melodious threads was his gift for music. Beyond his iconic screen presence and directorial genius, Chaplin was also a skilled composer, pouring his heart into the musical scores that would give his films an even deeper emotional resonance. This chapter uncovers the musical side of Chaplin, a facet of his artistry that, while perhaps less known, played a pivotal role in creating some of the most unforgettable moments in cinema. Chaplin's journey into the world of music composition was as instinctive as it was innovative. He believed that music was the soul of a film, capable of conveying emotions and stories in ways words and images alone could not. With no formal training in music, Chaplin relied on his natural musicality and his keen sense of emotion to create scores that perfectly complemented the tone and narrative of his films. One of the most remarkable aspects of Chaplin's approach to music was his ability to craft melodies that were both simple and profound. He had an innate understanding of how music could enhance the comedic and dramatic elements of a scene, adding layers of meaning and feeling. Whether it was the whimsical tune that accompanied the tramp's antics or the poignant melody that underscored a tender moment, Chaplin's music spoke directly to the heart. Chaplin's score for City Lights stands as a testament to his musical genius. Composed years after the film's initial release for its reissue in sound cinemas, the music added a new dimension to the story, elevating the film to even greater heights of artistry. The final scene, where the flower girl recognizes the tramp through his touch, is made all the more moving by Chaplin's hauntingly beautiful score, a melody that lingers long after the film ends. Perhaps Chaplin's most ambitious musical project was the score for Modern Times. Here, Chaplin used music not only to enhance the emotional impact of the film, but also to comment on the themes of industrialization and dehumanization. The factory scene, with its mechanically rhythmic score, perfectly encapsulates the film's critique of the modern industrial world. Yet even amid the satirical portrayal of society's mechanization, Chaplin's music retains a warmth and humanity, reminding us of the individual spirit that persists in the face of conformity. Chaplin's talent for music composition also shone brightly in The Kid, where the playful yet touching score complements the film's blend of comedy and drama. The music beautifully mirrors the evolving relationship between the tramp and the orphaned boy, capturing the essence of their bond and the adventures they share. But perhaps the most enduring musical legacy Chaplin left was the song Smile, composed for modern times and later given lyrics by John Turner and Geoffrey Parsons. Smile has become a timeless classic, covered by countless artists over the years. Its message of hope and resilience, of smiling through the pain, encapsulates Chaplin's own philosophy of life. It's a melody that transcends the film, touching the lives of those who hear it with its message of optimism. Chaplin's work as a composer reveals another layer of his artistic genius. He approached music with the same passion, innovation, and humanity that characterized his work in film. Chaplin's scores are not just background music. They are integral to the storytelling, enhancing the emotional depth and impact of his films. In exploring Chaplin's musical talents, we discover yet another way in which he communicated with his audience, touching hearts and stirring emotions with his melodies. His music, like his films, continues to resonate, a testament to Chaplin's enduring legacy as an artist who spoke the universal language of emotion, whether through laughter, tears, or the power of song. Chapter 13. The Family Man. Beyond the spotlight and the applause, Charlie Chaplin's life was anchored by his roles as a father and husband. Away from the cameras and the stage, he found joy and solace in the company of his family. Chaplin's home life was a stark contrast to his public persona, revealing a man deeply committed to his loved ones, cherishing the moments that unfolded away from the public eye. Chaplin's journey as a family man began with challenges and heartaches, as his early relationships and the pressures of fame tested his personal life. However, it was his marriage to Una O'Neill, despite the significant age difference, that marked the beginning of a profound and enduring partnership. Una brought stability and happiness to Chaplin's world, becoming not just a wife, but a true companion. Together, Charlie and Una created a vibrant household, welcoming 8 children over the years. The Chaplin home was filled with laughter, creativity, and love, a refuge for Charlie from the demands of his career. He took great delight in fatherhood, embracing the joys and responsibilities it brought. His children brought out a softer, more playful side of him, and he cherished the time spent playing games, telling stories, and exploring the outdoors with his family. Despite his busy schedule, Chaplin was a hands-on father. He was involved in his children's lives, taking an active interest in their education and hobbies. He encouraged their creative pursuits, whether it was in music, acting, or writing, fostering an environment where artistic expression was valued and nurtured. Chaplin also shared with his family his love for music and the arts, often playing the piano at home, filling the house with melodies that had charmed audiences worldwide. These moments of shared music and laughter were a testament to the warmth and affection that defined the Chaplin family life. As a husband, Chaplin was devoted to Una, relying on her strength and support through the ups and downs of his career. Una was his rock, standing by him during his exile from the United States and the controversies that shadowed his public life. Their relationship was a partnership of equals, built on mutual respect and deep affection. Life at the Chaplin home was not without its challenges, as the family navigated the complexities of living in the shadow of Charlie's fame. Yet, they remained close-knit, drawing strength from each other. The children grew up with a keen awareness of their father's legacy, but also with a sense of normalcy, thanks to Charlie and Una's efforts to provide a stable, loving home. Chaplin's role as a family man was perhaps his most cherished. It was in his family that he found true contentment and fulfillment, far removed from the accolades and acclaim of his public life. His children and grandchildren would remember him not just as a cinematic genius, but as a loving father and grandfather, whose greatest performances were not on screen, but in the everyday moments shared with them. In reflecting on Chaplin's life at home, we see a man who, despite his fame and success, valued the simple pleasures of family life above all. His legacy as a father and husband is a reminder that behind the iconic figure of Charlie Chaplin was a man who found his greatest joy not in the applause of the crowd, but in the love and laughter of his family. Through the lens of his family life, we gain a deeper understanding of Chaplin, not just as an artist, but as a person. His story is a testament to the enduring power of love and the importance of family, a narrative that enriches our appreciation of the man behind the legend. Chaplin's life at home offers a poignant glimpse into the heart of a man who, despite the extraordinary path he walked, cherished the ordinary moments that make life truly meaningful. Chapter 14. The Legacy. As the final reel of Charlie Chaplin's remarkable life story comes to a close, we turn our focus to the enduring legacy he left behind, a legacy that, like the timeless films he created, continues to inspire, entertain, and touch the hearts of audiences around the world. Chaplin was not just a master of comedy. He was a visionary whose work transcended the boundaries of cinema to become a vital part of global culture. Chaplin's impact on cinema is immeasurable. He was one of the pioneers of the film industry, helping to shape the art of movie-making during its infancy. His character, the Tramp, became one of the most iconic figures in film history, a symbol of humor, resilience, and humanity. Through The Tramp, Chaplin explored themes of poverty, injustice, and love, blending comedy and drama in a way that was revolutionary at the time. His films were a mirror to society, reflecting the joys and sorrows of the human experience with empathy and insight. But Chaplin's influence extended beyond the silver screen. He was a trailblazer in the truest sense, writing, directing, producing, and composing the music for most of his films. This hands-on approach allowed him to bring his unique vision to life, creating a body of work that is distinctly Chaplin. His dedication to his craft and his unwavering commitment to artistic integrity set a standard for filmmakers that continues to be revered to this day. Chaplin's legacy is also marked by his ability to connect with people across different cultures and generations. His films, with their universal themes and silent comedy, transcend language barriers, making them accessible to audiences worldwide. The emotional depth and humanism of his work resonate with viewers, regardless of their background or age. Chaplin showed us that laughter and tears are universal, a reminder of our shared humanity. Moreover, Chaplin's influence can be seen in the countless filmmakers and performers who cite him as an inspiration. From his innovative use of the camera to his masterful storytelling and physical comedy, Chaplin's techniques have been studied and emulated by artists across various mediums. His legacy lives on in the works of those who follow in his footsteps, pushing the boundaries of cinema and continuing the tradition of using film to explore the depths of the human condition. In today's digital age, Chaplin's films remain as relevant and powerful as ever. They continue to be discovered by new generations who find in them the same joy, laughter, and solace as audiences did a century ago. Through the magic of cinema, Chaplin's work endures, a testament to his genius and his understanding of the power of film to bring people together. As we reflect on Chaplin's legacy, we are reminded of the impact one person can have on the world. Through his art, Chaplin touched the lives of millions, offering a beacon of hope during times of turmoil and a source of laughter and light in the darkness. He showed us the importance of empathy, the value of resilience, and the transformative power of creativity. Charlie Chaplin was more than just a filmmaker. He was a cultural icon, a symbol of the enduring spirit of humanity. His legacy is not just in the films he left behind, but in the lives he continues to inspire. Chaplin's journey from the streets of London to the heights of Hollywood is a story of triumph and perseverance, a reminder that no matter how humble our beginnings, we all have the potential to leave a lasting mark on the world. As the curtain falls on Chaplin's story, we are left with a profound sense of gratitude for the laughter, the tears, and the moments of reflection he gifted us. Chaplin's legacy is a treasure, a collection of films that continue to enchant, challenge, and comfort us. It is a legacy that will endure, a reminder of the power of cinema to capture the beauty, the tragedy, and the endless wonder of the human experience. Chapter 16. Remembering Chaplin. The world pays tribute to Chaplin, remembering him not just as a film icon, but as a symbol of perseverance, humor, and humanity. As the final chapter in the incredible story of Charlie Chaplin unfolds, we find ourselves reflecting on the later years of a man whose life was as captivating off-screen as it was on. These years were a period of quiet reflection, a time when the frenetic pace of earlier decades gave way to a more serene existence, yet one still marked by the creativity and resilience that had defined Chaplin's entire journey. In the tranquility of his Swiss home, surrounded by the natural beauty of rolling hills and serene lakes, Chaplin spent his final years alongside his devoted wife, Una, and their children. This period was less about the creation of new works, and more about looking back on a life filled with extraordinary achievements. Chaplin, ever the storyteller, turned his attention to writing, sharing his memories and insights in his autobiography, My Autobiography, published in 1964. This work offered a glimpse into the mind of a genius, revealing the complexities, the joys, and the struggles of his life both in and out of the spotlight. Even as he stepped back from the film industry, Chaplin's legacy continued to grow. His work remained a subject of study and admiration. His films screened for new generations of fans who laughed and cried just as audiences had decades before. Chaplin's influence could be felt not just in cinema, but in the broader cultural landscape, where his character, the tramp, remained an enduring symbol of hope and humanity. Chaplin's health began to decline in the 1970s, but his spirit remained undiminished. Surrounded by his family, he continued to enjoy music, one of his lifelong passions, playing the piano and sharing the melodies that had underscored so many of his films. These moments of music and laughter were a testament to Chaplin's enduring love for life, a love that had fueled his creativity and resilience through the best and worst of times. On Christmas Day 1977, the world said goodbye to Charlie Chaplin. He passed away peacefully in his sleep, leaving behind a legacy that was as vast as it was profound. The news of his passing was met with an outpouring of tributes from around the globe, a reflection of the impact Chaplin had on the world. Fans, fellow artists, and leaders paid their respects, honoring a man who had brought so much joy, laughter, and thoughtfulness to their lives. Chaplin's funeral was a private affair, attended by his family and close friends. It was a fitting farewell for a man who had touched the lives of millions, yet who valued the simplicity and intimacy of family above all else. In the quiet of the Swiss countryside, the final curtain fell on Chaplin's remarkable life, marking the end of an era. Yet, as we look back on Chaplin's final years and the legacy he left behind, it is clear that the story does not end here. Through his films, Chaplin achieved a kind of immortality, his work continuing to inspire, entertain, and move audiences. The Tramp, with his bowler hat and cane, remains an iconic figure in cinema, a reminder of the power of humor and empathy to overcome adversity. Chaplin's life, from the streets of London to the heights of Hollywood, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It is a story of triumph over adversity, of creativity in the face of challenge, and of the enduring power of laughter and love. As we close this chapter, we are reminded that Charlie Chaplin's legacy is not just in the films he made, but in the lives he touched, the smiles he created, and the hope he inspired. And so, we come to the end of our journey through the remarkable life of Charlie Chaplin, a story that has taken us from the cobblestone streets of London to the glittering lights of Hollywood, exploring the depths of a man whose legacy in cinema is unparalleled. We hope that this tale has not only entertained you, but also enriched your English learning, providing you with new vocabulary, insights, and perhaps a deeper appreciation for the art of storytelling. As we close this chapter, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Did Chaplin's story inspire you? Were there moments that resonated with you personally? How has this story aided in your English learning journey? Your comments are invaluable to us, providing us with the feedback we need to tailor our stories to better suit your learning needs. Moreover, if you've enjoyed this story and are keen on discovering more tales crafted to aid in your English learning, we invite you to visit wooenglish.com. There, you'll find a treasure trove of stories available for download in PDF format, each designed to engage, educate, and inspire English learners of all levels. And if this story has touched you, made you laugh, or sparked a curiosity to learn more, please show your support by pressing the like button. Your likes are more than just a number to us. They're a sign of encouragement, a gesture that fuels our passion to continue creating content that makes learning English an enjoyable journey. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Your engagement and support mean the world to us at Woo English. Remember, every story is a step closer to fluency in English, and we're here to guide you through each one. So, until our next tale, keep learning, keep exploring, and never stop being curious about the wonderful world of English.